Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I wanted to make a quick little vlogging video of hiking, which I'm not great at doing, in this park in Arkansas called Devil's Den. It's really pretty, kind of. I'm about to pass out, but yeah. Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. Taylor here. So I am currently driving on my way back to Texas from Arkansas. I was visiting my sister and my brother and my nephew. So first and foremost, I wanted to start off this video by saying thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. I feel like I'm growing really well and you know, really kind of quickly, so I'm really happy about that. I do hope I continue to put out content that you guys like. I know that a lot of you guys are wanting me to do K-pop reactions and Q-pop reactions and watch more Damash and stuff like that, and trust me, I'm going to do those. I love making those. And for all of you that, you know, love my travel content, I will continue to make travel content as well. I am very passionate about both of those things, so, or all of those things. It's more than two things. So you know, all of that will continue and stay the same, and hopefully you guys like what I'm doing. But I did want to, you know, sincerely thank you guys for doing that. And I also have gotten, you know, some more orders of people ordering stuff that I've reviewed or things like that from the affiliate links down below through Amazon. So that is super helpful. That I get a small commission from that whenever you guys order through my affiliate links, and that goes to support the channel. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to just go explain, like, basically what happened whenever my brother and I went to Devil's Den, which is a huge park over by my thing fell. I don't know why. So I kind of wanted to just tell you guys a little story about what happened when we went to Devil's Den and I lost my drone again. Now the story does have a happy ending, but it also does have an interesting sort of it has sort of an interesting cathartic experience for me, I guess, in terms of my character and things like that. So, I am a travel channel, right? I'm a travel blogger. I love traveling. I love going new places. That's something that I love to do. I think traveling is one of the most important things that anybody and everybody should do in their life, period. I think you can learn so much from traveling and going places and meeting new people, experiencing new cultures. I think that is such an important and beautiful thing to do, and it's such an important part of growth as a human. I feel that, you know, you experience these things to the best of your ability and to the best that you can. And I love traveling, but I'm very much a city boy. I don't really go on hikes. I don't really work out, as you can probably tell. I don't really do stuff like that. I will go hiking on occasion, and I will go to beautiful scenic views and vistas and things like that to see stuff. I will. But I try not to go for too long, and I really rarely go on that sort of adventure by myself, because I'm genuinely afraid of the outdoors, period. I'm arachnophobic 100%, and I don't say that to say that I think spiders are icky and gross and like, ew, like, you know, no, I am terrified of spiders, like panic attack, just can't handle it. Like, no, I can't. My fear of spiders is so irrational. And let me know if you guys have the same sort of thing. I am genuinely afraid that if I kill a spider, not that I'm brave enough to try, that somewhere there is the mama spider or the husband spider or some bigger spider that watches me kill their young or family member or whatever, and then starts like planning my demise. Like, that's how irrational my fear is when it comes to spiders. Like, that's a genuine thing. Like, I can't kill spiders because I genuinely think that. And the most scared, the most terrifying the most terrified I've ever been in my entire life. I was living in Virginia with my grandmother, right? And she lived in this small city called Suffolk. It is like, if you know where like Virginia Beach is and Norfolk, it's, ooh, it sounded like Virginia when I said that. It's like a good like 40-ish minutes from there. It's way out in the country, middle of nowhere. She had land and everything, like an acre or two, whatever. And there were all types of spiders and stuff there. Anyway, she asked me to take out the trash to like roll it to the end of the driveway, because we had like a long driveway. So she's like, can you roll the trash bin in the driveway? And I was like, okay. So I was rolling it. I saw something out of the corner of my eye on the ground and stopped dead in my tracks, because I knew it was a spider. Like, corner of my eye. I'm looking straight ahead. This thing is literally off to my left, 100%. And I was like, and I stopped, and I called my grandmother, because she was actually outside too. She was like right by me, and I was like, look, like I was like, I can't move, because I was so scared, because it was such a big spider. Like, it was so big that I noticed it. And I mean, it honestly, it wasn't like a tarantula size big or anything. It was probably like, you know, that big. But that, I can't do even tiny spiders. Like that's a big spider to me. And so my grandmother believes in, like, you know, conserving spiders or conserving nature and whatever, and that you don't necessarily need to kill a living being and blah blah. I'm not here for that. Like, the spiders need to go. Like, I'm sorry if you love spiders. I don't care how many times you tell me that they're good for the environment and they eat mosquitoes and flies and whatever. Let me be just covered in mosquitoes if it meant that I didn't have to even see one spider ever again. Like, period. No. Anyway, so I couldn't move. I was literally frozen. Not like I was like, you know, kind of cowering and giggling. Like, I was literally frozen. And so my grandmother like got a stick, and she was just going to hit it off into the woods so that way it could come back and haunt us another day. And when she hits it, turns out, like, she hits it and the spider falls over. Turns out it was a wolf spider. And if you don't know anything about wolf spiders, they carry their babies on their back in the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And so she hit it, and all of its babies fell off and scattered. And I saw just hundreds of baby spiders. I don't honestly know what happened next. I honestly think I teleported into the house. I've never moved so quickly in my entire life. I do not remember getting back in the house. All I remember is seeing that, and then the next thing I remember is I was in my room having a panic attack. Like, just full on, couldn't breathe, just freaking out. And so, yeah, that's basically the way I am with spiders, period. Like, I cannot handle spiders, and I don't really like the thought of running into bears and things like that. So yeah, anyway, it wasn't a long story short, so I'm not gonna say that. Anyway, long story aside, that's basically, you know, my feeling with nature. It's great, and I love people that can hike, and I think that it's a fantastic thing, and there are beautiful things that you can see and come across from hiking, such as what we saw whenever we came up this overlook. So anyways, so that's kind of like a backstory, basically, so that way you kind of understand the sort of experience I have. So, I came to Arkansas, because my brother was sort of having a hard time with some things, and I figured that I should, you know, come and, try to make him feel better and support him, do some stuff with him. I hadn't seen my brother, my sister in a few months now. They both live in Arkansas, along with my nephew, and it was also my sister's birthday on Tuesday. So I was like, okay, well, you know, like, let me go to Arkansas and hang out with them or whatever for a few days. So I did that, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to do, and that Chris wanted to do as well, is I had never been to Devil's Den, which all the times that I've come here, it's a big park and everything, and I just haven't gone. And so I was like, well, I want to go. I want to, you know, get some new pictures and stuff like that, fly the drone out, things like that, which was mistake number one, flying the drone. So we were like, okay, so there's like there's an overlook there, and I think like Yellowstone, a Yellow Rock overlook, whatever. So Chris and I hiked up the trail or whatever, all the way up there. We hiked all the way up there. It was a terribly long hike. I'm terribly out of shape. See, this is going to be one of those moments where when I'm playing it back, I'm going to realize that there was Bigfoot in the background. Watching way too much Chills. There's a cave?
I've never been in there on the other side, yeah.
And we're not going to go in there either.
I plan on going in there.
But yeah, I've been watching a lot of Chills and Slapped Ham. If you guys don't know who that is, I'll link their channels down below. But they have like a lot of like creepy content and stuff, which I shouldn't have been watching before deciding to go to a park like this. Because now I'm slightly afraid that I'm going to see like Bigfoot or an alien or something. Because I've been watching crap where people catch stuff like when they're hiking and stuff. So yeah, great. So we got there, it was a beautiful view, and there was like a rock sort of that you can, or it's like, you know, you could take those pictures where you're like on the edge kind of, and I have some of those. Okay, so after 500 million years of walking, or like 20 to 30 minutes, but it feels like 500 million years, we have almost reached the overlook, whatever it's called. Okay. Wow, this is pretty. And that's kind of why I wanted to go. I wanted to go specifically for those pictures. Though I am terrified of heights, so yeah, that's fun. But anyways, and I have like zero type of coordination and balance. So I decided to fly the drone. Because that's, you know, what you do. You go to scenic areas like that, and then you fly the drone and get beautiful images. Not sure what happened. I started to fly it, and somehow, like almost immediately after it got kind of decent away from me, a ways away from me, not too far, the battery started to die, which is so weird because like it was a full battery, like they had been charged. So I was like, why is this happening? So I tried to auto land it, like to the GPS coordinates or whatever, to auto land, and it was coming back or whatever, and as it was coming back to land, the battery was going down quicker and quicker, and I was like, what's happening? It decided to stop me from doing that, and decided to fly back up, move itself just slightly off the cliff, not anywhere near where the GPS coordinates would have been, where the home point was. Like, I set it way away from the cliff. I always do. So, and it decided to just, and I just helplessly watched it as it just literally sunk below the side of the cliff. And I was like, are you serious? And I couldn't stop it. Like, it refused to give me power back of it or anything. It disconnected from it. It landed safely, actually. And then just, it was that. That sucked. Because it was a really, really high mountain, and there wasn't like a trail down there to get to. and to go to where it was. At least not that we could see. So update, it looks like I might have lost my drone. Somehow the battery died. I don't know how. I'm gonna have a hell of a time trying to, because it fell down there somewhere. Like it went right down there, and I can't even see it. So I have no idea exactly where it is, because it took forever to actually power off. Never use auto or return to home if you're, like, I guess, by a cliff. I don't know. I wasn't like this close to the cliff whenever I launched it, so I'm not sure how it miscalculated. Normally it comes like accurately back to where it's supposed to be, but yeah. And I'm really mad it wouldn't let me like jump in at the last second and pilot it. It should have let me do that to prevent this exact thing from happening. So yeah. So I was like, well, this sucks. And I just kind of resigned to the fact that I'm gonna have to get another drone, like, because it's like, there's no way to get to it. And I didn't want to risk us just trekking and traversing through the wilderness, you know, and wasting time looking for that. Like, that's not why we came. And it kind of annoyed me that that even happened anyways, because it's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to land where the GPS coordinates are. Like, that's never happened before. So it was very, very annoying to me. And this is, like, as you know, the second time that something like this has happened. But the first time, I don't think it didn't run out of battery so much as it disconnected them from my phone, and then it landed and then got its bearings, then came back and came to me. So, I mean, that one was different. This one just died. And it shouldn't die that quickly or like that. So, I was just very annoyed. But my brother's like, no, let's, like, try to go and, you know, get it and everything else like that. And I was like, okay, well, we can go see if there's a way to get to it. If it becomes too dangerous or whatever, then no, we're not gonna do it. So we start walking back, and we actually come across like a dried waterfall. However, like it's still very wet. There's moss and stuff everywhere, so it's still very slippery. And it's all just jagged rocks and stuff like that. And Chris was like, we could go down here and see if this is a way to get to where the overlook is. We tried to walk down this waterfall. Now, this is where the sort of cathartic experience for me kind of starts to happen. I have never in my life gone off of a trail anywhere. I am genuinely terrified of doing that. I'm not 100% comfortable on trails, because there are still going to be bugs and stuff there, but it's a trail, people walk on it. A lot of times, animals and stuff will avoid areas where people normally are. So I am slightly more comfortable with that. Going off trail, like, you're in their territory. I know you're in their territory 100% of the time. It's a park, it's a mountain, I know, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, the trail is there, people walk on that every day. A lot of animals and stuff know, okay, I'm not gonna go there. But when you go off trail and into their home, that's different. And then there's not really people walking through that, so there's more spider webs and things like that. So yeah, not comfortable with it. But I was like, you know what? Let me be brave. My younger brother is willing to do this. Hell, he was willing to scale the mountain and stuff and do all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, can't do that. So I started walking down, we started walking down this, waterfall rock area. I slipped several times, but I didn't fall, so good for me. But it was one of those things where as I was doing it, I was like, this is terrifying. Like, this isn't worth it. But there was another part of me that was like, come on, Taylor, like, let's give it a try. Let's try doing this sort of brave thing and having this sort of, wacky adventure or whatever, and doing that. And so I did. Like, I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I did it. We ended up, getting to basically where there was a drop-off, which we couldn't see until we got to it, so it sucked, because we couldn't just jump off of it, so we had to walk all the way back, so it was kind of a waste. But on our way back, I noticed that I had a lot more energy than I had even at the beginning of the trip. When we were walking on the trail and everything, I was like heavy breathing and getting tired quickly and everything. And now I felt a little bit more confident after doing something like that. Like, you know, I felt like I had sort of, to me, I had braved something that I would have never in a normal circumstances considered doing, ever. Even, especially if I was by myself. If I was by myself, the drone would just be gone. I would have never tried to go anywhere to look for it at all, period. Like, it would have just been wasted money. So, like, we got back on the trail and we were walking, and I could tell sort of immediately that I kind of felt a little bit braver in the sense that, I was actually like walking next to my brother rather than behind him. Normally when I'm on a trail or out in the wilderness or whatever, I walk behind people. I walk directly behind them. I want to walk where they walk so I can avoid slipping, so I can avoid running into webs and everything. A lot of people are able to look and see those kind of things more. I'm so worried about everything around me that sometimes I will miss things that are obviously in front of me. And now it's kind of walking next to him, and I felt a little bit braver. I was like, huh, this is different. Okay, day 475 of living out in the woods. Scratch that. An hour later on the same day, we are walking back down the hill after trying to descend what is a dried up waterfall right now with plenty of moss and slippery stuff that I almost fell on. And in order to get down part of it, I had to actually sit down and kind of slide down on the rock, and that was not good because I'm wearing, can't see them, but there you go. New shorts. Yeah, I didn't anticipate hiking this long or even sliding down a waterfall or what used to be a waterfall. So yeah, but I know I shouldn't wear new shorts or good shorts in general or good clothes in general to hike. And I'm wearing terrible shoes for this because they are like not tennis shoes really. They're just kind of look like tennis shoes. They're from H&M. So, you know. So now we're descending down the mountain again, and hopefully we can either find a way to walk around to like where the lake is. There has to be a way to walk to it if we get to the bottom, or we're gonna go by the office and ask them if maybe they have like a handy dandy map or something like that to like help us find where, or help us find how to get to where the drone is. Like we can see where we need to go, but it's easier said than done. And I'm about to die, so yeah. So we walked all the way to the bottom and we were like, okay, well, maybe there's gotta be like another way we can go around it. So we were like, well, let's go to the office and ask them if there is a way to get to like the bottom of the overlook. So we did that, and they told us to go talk to the ranger, which I was kind of apprehensive about because I wasn't sure if flying drones was legal there or not. I saw no signs at all anywhere. I looked for them to see if flying drones is legal. The only place that I've come across so far where I know for a fact that flying drones in a state park is illegal is Florida. And that's because when I was in Florida last year and I was going to go fly one of my drones, I was stopped by a ranger that was like, hey, you can't fly that here. Like, it's illegal to fly in Florida state parks. So I was like, oh, okay. Not really sure why. You can take pictures and everything. So I really, if any of you know why flying drones is illegal in a lot of state parks, please let me know, because like I genuinely don't understand, especially since you can take pictures, you can take cameras and stuff like that there. So I'm not really seeing what the difference is. Like, it's a state park, it's nature. Like, are you guys hiding something there? Is it a conspiracy theory? I don't know. Anyway, so we went and talked to him. Come to find out, it is illegal to fly drones there. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't live here, I didn't know that. He was like, okay. And so he told us how to get to where we needed to go. So we parked where we could park and started walking on the trail and everything. And then we came to the part that he told us where we would have to go off trail. And I was hoping that it would be a lot flatter, because we were on the ground. From what we could see from the overlook, it looked like it was on the flat ground as well. But it wasn't, it was actually still up hills and everything. So we're going off the trail and deep into the woods, I guess. I'm hoping it's not that far off. Not liking this at all, but I hope this is not poison ivy or something. I don't know what the hell that looks like. Go up, go up. There you go.
Oh, God. What? We're hoping we can find it. Chris was able to mark it on like his maps. So we are hoping we can find it without dying.
Directly this direction.
It can't be that way because you have to climb up.
So we went off trail. My brother was willing and continuously said, hey, you can just wait here, I'll go by myself. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not, even though Chris is much better adept at hiking and everything, he goes all the time and stuff, and he is much braver and able to look out for stuff and everything. He is, I'm sure, much better off. And I'm sure probably would have been much better off by himself than with me. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna let you go by yourself. Like, I'm going to at least walk up as much as I can with you. So we went off the path. This time I was extremely terrified because before, when we went off path, it was on a bunch of rocks on an open sort of waterfall, right? Like there was all types of little holes and everything in the rocks. So I was scared something was gonna pop out and things, but it was still a waterfall, you know, an open area kind of. You could see sort of around you. This was woods. This was climbing just uphill, slanted, and, you know, like just woods, trees, everything everywhere. This was the 100% wilderness part. So I was 100% uncomfortable, and I was 100% scared. I was freaking out from every sound, everything that I saw. There was things that kept flying around me that wasn't helping, but I was doing it. And as I was doing it, I was getting more and more proud of myself. And so we climbed up for a good little bit, and then we came to basically what looked like, you know, a really slanted hill that you were gonna basically just have to like claw your way up. And I was like, you know, it's not, I thought that it was going to be a lot closer to where it was. And like, it was just seemed like we just were kind of going up and up. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. My brother had marked it on like Google Maps, so that helped. Like, we were able to like kind of follow the marking on Google Maps, so that really helped, because we couldn't see the overlook. Like, you couldn't see it from the ground. So he was like, okay, let me just climb up right here. Like, it was about 10-15 feet away from me. Let me climb up this like steep part and see if I could see like the overlook or see something, and then decide from there. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait here, because I knew that if I tried to climb up this extremely steep part of the hill, that I probably was just gonna fall.
Yeah, he just climbed up that slippery little area up there. We don't know if this is right or not, because this trail isn't, well, this isn't part of the trail, but.
So I stood there and I waited for several minutes.
I don't think I can go up that. I've been like falling and slipping this whole time anyway. I'm not good at this sort of thing. But I'm trying to be brave. It is, after all, my drone. Chris is a lot more willing to like risk his life jumping around and running and stuff and trying to climb things. I'm just standing in the middle of this area, hoping that nothing is going to come and get me while there's stuff flying around me. Chris! And I have no service, so I have no way of like contacting him. Okay, nature, bugs, things, stop moving, please. I know that I'm not gonna be able to climb up the side of that steep area that he climbed up, but I don't hear him anymore. And I just yelled for him and he didn't respond, I don't think. Chris! What the fuck? I told him not to go that far. Like, it's not fucking worth it. What time is it? I haven't been able to hear him for over like a minute now, and I have really good hearing.
After about a minute and a half, he had gotten up there, and he's walked so far away that I couldn't even hear like leaves rustling or whatever. And I didn't like that. I don't have service. He doesn't have service. Like, I can't hear anything. I literally can't see anything because of this steep hill. So I waited for like another minute, and then I started to call out to him.
Like, how far could he have gone? Chris! Can't hear anything with this damn buzzing. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes now. Like, wherever he's at, he's gone too far. So I'm gonna have to like try to climb up this and see where he's at.
Chris has really bad hearing. I have a loud voice, in case you can't tell. And when I yell, it's loud. I could hear myself echoing, but Chris, like, can't hear. So, like, I'm yelling for him, and I don't hear anything. I tried to give it a couple more minutes. Nothing. And I was like, okay, it's been almost 5 minutes now. Like, this is taking too long. The drone isn't worth it. I don't want to risk, you know, him getting hurt or me getting hurt or anything happening. You know, like, it's not, it's honestly, it's a few $100 drone. It's not really worth it. And, you know, not to mention that the whole point of this was, yeah, some of it was for me. I wanted to take some pictures and everything. But this was also to help my brother feel better. Like, us getting hurt or whatever in the woods, it's not helping him any. Though he definitely did need a distraction and everything, and I think it was that, so that's helpful. So when I didn't hear anything from him, I decided that I was going to scale up by myself, which is a terrifying experience for me, because at this point, I'm alone. I haven't heard Chris in several minutes. He's not responding to me yelling. This is a very, very big thing. I've already been standing out in the middle of, like, I can't even see the trail where we had come up from anymore, and I can't see anything. Things are flying around me. I'm hearing rustling. I'm just terrified and panicking. But I was like, you know what? I'm not, like, I've got to go make sure Chris is okay, and if he is, like, just, like, say, screw it, I don't care. I don't care about the drone. So I decided to start, like, climbing up and grabbed onto the trees that were hanging off the side and everything, and it took me a lot longer than it took Chris, but after about a couple minutes, I got up, like, the hill, and I didn't see anything, and it looked like it started to go up even more, like it was like some flat land, and then it kind of started to go up even more, and so I started yelling for Chris again, because at this point, I'm kind of freaking out, I'm kind of shaking, I still haven't heard from him, and I feel like he should be able to hear me at this point. So I start yelling for him again, and after about the second or third time, and I start to kind of walk forward, I hear him go, yeah, and I was like, where are you? And he was like, I'm coming. And I was like, okay, like, and I kind of start to kind of calm down a little bit, because I'm like, okay, thank God, like, at least he's okay, like, whatever. And he's like, I got it. And I was like, oh, awesome, like, that's fantastic. So I mean, we were able to get the drone. He was able to get the drone too.
Okay, people, we did it, or rather, my brother did it. Give a big thank you to Chris. There's Chris for saving my drone. We are okay. Huh? Yes. He climbed up a lot further than I was willing to go, which was super unnecessary because I got super worried because he was gone for a long time. But we did it, and my drone is safe and back with me. So yay. Now I'm literally about to pass out. So we are gonna walk back to the car and go home, and I'm going to take the world's longest shower. And yeah, so this has been fun. Not really, because I lost my drone, but we got it back. So all in all, it's fun. Me to nature 0 at the end. Bye.
So, I mean, yeah, all in all, it was a happy ending. Like, we climbed and got down with relatively no injuries other than, I guess, a bunch of ticks all over us. I've never had ticks on me before, so that was not fun, and getting them off and whatnot. But, all in all, the point of the story, and I guess the sort of cathartic experience that I didn't expect to have, didn't expect to lose my drone or anything, was that, I am a lot braver than I give myself credit for. Like, I mean, I know that I was also kind of really worried about Chris, and that definitely did help with it, and the fact that I wasn't alone, at least for a lot of it, did help. I know that, because I wouldn't have done it if I was by myself, I know, 100%. But, for me to do it in general, period, for me, that was a big thing for me. Like, that sort of, that experience, that walking off the path and braving nature and everything, that was facing a lot of big fears for me. A lot of big fears. For me to do all that, and yes, I know it was kind of for a selfish, it was for a selfish reason. It was for me to go get my drone. But I wanted to, it wasn't just getting my drone. There was still a part of me that wanted to just kind of be a little bit braver than I am, because like the thing with me is that I give up so quickly on things, and I just am so willing to be like, okay, well, like it's, you know, it's gone, it's whatever, it's done, there's nothing else to be done. I'm so quick to do that, especially when it comes to something that I'm afraid of doing, that like I never give myself the chance to explore what could happen if I tried. And this time, I wanted to explore trying, and I wanted to see what would happen. And it turned out great. There was nothing terrible that happened or anything, and I got my drone back. So it worked. Like, it worked, and that's great. But for me, that was a very, very big thing. And I'm kind of a little bit happy that I lost my drone, because it, you know, it allowed me to feel more comfortable. It allowed me to do something that I myself wouldn't have done. Now, when I go somewhere and I'm by myself, I might go off the trail for a minute, or I might walk a longer trail than I normally would by myself. I know I travel by myself all the time. It's what I do. I'm flight for one. But it doesn't mean that it's always easy. Every time that I travel alone, there is still an aspect of feeling alone that everyone has. You know, you have to have it. No matter how many times you travel alone, no matter how many times I travel alone, there is still an aspect, there's still, you know, that thing in the back of your head of, you're still here by yourself. If you get lost in the woods, you're by yourself. No one might not even, I don't sit there and like text my mom or send people my like GPS coordinates of where I am and what I'm doing, especially if I'm like in another country or something. What are they gonna, you know, what are they gonna do? So, you know, it's always something that you have to be cognizant of and aware of, and something that I'm aware of, you know, and so it's always a growth and a learning experience. It's traveling alone. It's always one of those things where each time I do it, I get a little bit braver, and I explore the world a little bit more, but it still always isn't always going to be just this continuous sort of, you know, growth, and being a little bit braver than I was the last time, and doing things that bring me out of my comfort zone. And this experience at Devil's Den, even though I wasn't alone, I was alone for some of it, really was a big experience for me. And the message from that long story that I want to pass on to you all, because there is sort of a point for this for you all, is to be braver than you were the day before. Like, don't just not do things because you're afraid of what might happen, or you're afraid of failure. Like, I was afraid of a lot of things in doing that. I was afraid of getting bitten. I was afraid of getting kidnapped, getting mauled to death. And all of that kind of stemmed from failing. From I wasn't going to reach the objective, which was, you know, finding my drone. Like, that was sort of like the main failure of, oh, I'm gonna fail, and then these are all the ways that I can fail. Death, not being able to reach it, what, you know, kidnap, whatever. Like, so it's, those are just kind of always they were there, and things like that are always there for a lot of things, especially when you're traveling alone. It can always be scary to do that. But, and I see a lot of people, and I've gotten a lot of questions, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. There's a lot of people that are scared to travel alone, and that worry about what could happen to them and everything, especially when you're in another country, you're in another state, wherever, and especially if you don't know anyone. If you went somewhere 100% by yourself, and then you look at like people that are smaller, like I'm like 5'7", so I'm a smaller individual, and I could easily be probably taken advantage of in that way. And then also, especially for like female travelers, they worry about traveling alone and things like that. And never put yourself in danger. Never do something that you feel that you are uncomfortable with. You know, never do anything that to where you're really risking your life. But, you know, like, just, it's traveling along with doing anything in life is scary. It's scary to do new things. It's scary to do things by yourself. But the point is just, you know, go out and try and do things, you know. Don't just allow fear to intimidate you all your life, because then what good does that do? Like, that's only a life half lived if you're always afraid of just every and anything happening, you know. And if I can pass any sort of message on, that's what I want to pass on. That's one of the main points of my channel. It is, yes, traveling is great and everybody needs to do it, but a lot of people don't travel. A lot of people claim it's because of money, but that's not always the case, because there's plenty of cheap travel options and things that you can do to save money and be able to travel. That's a lot of what my channel is about, is like, I give you guys cheap ways to look up flights and hotels and things like that. Like, that's one of the things that I do, is I travel affordably. And that is easy to do. And, you know, if you go out and buy a PlayStation, then, you know, you can afford to go on a trip somewhere. So it doesn't have to be to another country. You can just go somewhere. You can drive somewhere. You don't have to fly. But a lot of the main reason that people don't travel is because they don't have anybody to travel with. Even if they're in a relationship, you might have enough money for yourself, but maybe not necessarily the other person. You know, or your friends might not have the money to just, you know, spend and travel, or they don't want to save, or they don't want to go to the same place you do. So a big reason that a lot of people don't travel is because they're afraid to go alone. And I was like that, and every time that I go on a trip, I'm a little bit afraid to go by myself. But it should not prevent you from doing it, because it's such a great experience. And it's so different to travel by yourself versus traveling with someone. Yes, it's always fun to travel with other people, absolutely, but it's such a unique sort of experience to be alone and kind of making your own schedule, and sort of just, it's a more, to me, it's a more sort of spiritual experience. You know, it's very different than traveling with other people, and it's something that everybody should do, and you should absolutely do it. So yeah, that's kind of the sort of long way of saying that. But either way, this was sort of my really first sort of vlogging experience. I know I didn't get as much on camera as I should have, and I'm sorry. I am new to the whole vlogging thing, and it's not always my first thought to just like start recording and keep recording. I don't have a big enough card to actually continuously record like the whole several hours, so I couldn't do that. I should have got like a GoPro. Honestly, I had actually really considered getting a GoPro like right before we went on this trip. Like, we had went to Walmart the day prior, and I looked at them and I was like, I should just get one. Something told me it would have been great if I had gotten a GoPro on this, but I didn't. So next time I lose my drone, it'll be recorded. Anyway, but that was kind of that was all that I wanted to sort of share with you guys. Well, I'm going to go and focus on the rest of my drive. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want me to make more videos like this, hopefully without losing things, then let me know. I'd be happy to do that. And thank you guys so much for all of you that have subscribed to my channel, that are new and that have been here for a while. I really appreciate it, and I will continue to hopefully make more videos that you guys love. And I'll see you guys around the world. Bye.